Every good meal has a wonderful salad, so we're going to start with a salad. And we have this cucumber which is chopped up. This kind of salad comes from the west coast of India, where there are a lot of coconut trees, so it has a little bit of coconut. This is coconut which has been ground up, and in the US you can also buy this kind of coconut in the frozen section. For example, Indian stores have it, but Whole Foods and other big supermarkets also have it. And then we're going to add a little bit of cilantro that has been chopped up. And then we're going to add some peanuts. We're going to roast the peanuts just for a few minutes. And it's important to roast them on a low flame. Roasting makes them crisp and also brings the flavor out. Okay, while these are roasting, let's put in the other ingredients. We're going to put in a little bit of chilies, green chilies that have been chopped up. And some salt, just a little bit of salt. You can put as much salt as you like. And a bit of lime juice. So we just wait for these peanuts to get roasted. And they should just change color from white to golden. And when they do that, they're done. And then we can put them into this little grinder. And just pulse it a little bit. Here we go. And you can often find roasted peanuts in the supermarket. I like to use the raw ones and roast them because that brings out the flavor much more than peanuts that have been roasted before. But you can also use roasted peanuts. Just mix it all together. And here we have a really tasty salad. Now I'm going to show you how to make a mixed vegetable curry. So for this curry, we're going to have these potatoes chopped and steamed. Here we are. And I'm just going to put them into the steamer. That's all ready. Here we are. And now we'll start making the gravy. I also have a bunch of mixed vegetables, but I'm going to put them in the steamer a little later because the potatoes take longer to cook. So we're going to make a kind of spice where with some garlic and some ginger and some green chilies and some onions. Now, you don't really need to put the onions into this. I'm just doing it because it's much faster this way. Because we're going to fry the onions and they cook much faster if they are all blended together. So, we put this all in. There we go. And Now we have this spice made of ginger, garlic and green chilies, and you can put more or less depending on your taste. If you like it more spicy, you could put an extra one of these. And now I'm going to put this on this hot skillet and let it cook a little. And you can see here that I'm doing it without any oil. That's because we want to have this a really low fat meal. And this isn't going to stick because you have all the water from the onions. So we just let this cook. And while this is cooking, we're going to take the cashews and put them into the blender. So these are cashews, about a cup of cashews that have been soaked in water. And we're going to make it into a paste. And this is because usually this curry is made with cream, but we don't want to use any dairy here, so we're going to use just cashews. Okay, so we have the cashew paste ready, and I'm just going to add these vegetables in. These vegetables are beans and cauliflower and carrots and peas. And we just add it to the potatoes so that it can all steam together. So we'll let this steam and we'll put it on high so it'll go a bit faster. And now we have this paste cooking. We'll just cook it a little bit longer. And while it's cooking, we're going to add a little bit of cardamom. Here's 3 cloves of cardamom that I added. And here are some poppy seeds, and poppy seeds give a really nice flavor. I'm just going to add this to the cashew paste. To mix it in with the cream. And I'm adding 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds here. Okay. This will be done in about 3 to 5 minutes. You can see that it's browning on the edges now. And when it's almost done, we're going to add tomatoes in. And these are 2 tomatoes that have been chopped. And we're going to cook this until the tomatoes get squishy. And while this is happening, I'm also going to add garam masala. And garam masala is a blend of spices, cinnamon and cloves and other things. And garam means hot. It's a hot spice. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of garam masala. And let that roast as well with the tomatoes. And I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric. Say half a teaspoon of turmeric. So all the spices are roasting together now. You can see that the tomatoes are beginning to blend in. So now this is almost ready, and we're going to add in some of these vegetables. Let's see if they're done. And you can see all these steamed vegetables that I'm going to add into this. Don't they look pretty with all the different colors of vegetables? So we're going to add this cashew paste along with the poppy seeds. There we are. And I'm going to add a few raisins just to give it a little sweetness. And there, we're done. We need to add a little bit of salt, and you can add salt if you want to, or you don't really have to. I'm going to add a little bit of salt here, just a pinch. And then to make it more fluid, a little bit of soy yogurt. Now, in India, where we don't get soy yogurt ready-made, we can make the yogurt just as we would make cow's milk yogurt using a starter and soy milk, and you would have the yogurt ready in 8 hours. So I'm adding a bit of yogurt to this. And stir it all in. And here's our mixed vegetable curry. And this can be served with rice or Indian bread, or it can even be eaten just plain.
To finish off any meal, how about a sweet dessert? What do we have in store today?
We're going to make Sheera, which is a pudding made from cream of wheat. In India, we call it rava. And
We call it?
Rava.
How do you spell that?
R-A-V-A.
Rava. Okay.
Rava.
Great.
Yeah. And to start off, I'm going to have these broken pieces of cashews in this pot that's already heating and roast them a bit. So here we have the cashews, all nice and toasted. And then I'm going to set them aside and toast the rava, toast the cream of wheat.
So rava is cream of wheat?
Yes.
Okay.
And we toast this until it becomes nice and brown, light brown, golden.
And you could start to smell a little bit of the toasting.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, while that's getting done, let's just prepare for the next thing. And for that, we're going to take this banana and chop it into little pieces, because we don't want to use sugar in this recipe, because sugar is not so great for health. So we want to sweeten it as far as possible with bananas and raisins.
For this, do you normally prefer a really ripe banana, or would any banana do?
It would be really nice to have a ripe one, just because it's much sweeter, and so we need less sugar. So let's see how this is doing. It's just beginning to go golden. So now we're going to take this out and set it aside in just a minute. And then we're going to add to this 2 cups of almond milk. And you know why we're using almond milk? Because we don't really want to use cow's milk.
So normally people would probably have used cow's milk, and this is a healthier choice.
Right.
Okay, terrific.
And if you don't have almond milk ready, you can easily make it just by soaking 10 almonds and putting them with a cup of water into the blender and making your own almond milk. Okay, so here we're going to heat this. And we'll put a few strands of saffron.
That's nice.
Just
Where would you
to-
find that? If I wanted to get that, would I get it online or in an Indian store?
I think you would get it in an Indian store, but you could also find it in a big grocery as
Okay.
well. And then I'm going to add these raisins, which have been soaking in a bit of water. And these bananas. And we're going to bring all this to a boil. Okay, so it's been cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes, and let me see if it's done. Yes, it is. You can have a look.
Great.
And since it's all boiling, we're going to add this cream of wheat slowly in it and mix it.
So you're gradually stirring it in.
Yes.
What kind of consistency are you looking for? Is it sort of like people would think of porridge or?
No, it's going to be more solid than that. What would it be like? Almost like a moist cake consistency.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. It's thickening up as,
Yeah.
as it absorbs the water.
And at this point, we can even add some cardamom powder in it. So, can turn down the stove a little bit. Okay, so this is half a teaspoon of cardamom, just to give it that flavor. So the flavoring agents here are saffron and cardamom. And then we can add our roasted cashews.
That looks great.
And then when it's done, I'm just going to taste it because the bananas and the raisins give it the sweetness. And if it's not sweet enough, we'll add some agave. Do you know what agave is?
It comes from a cactus.
Right.
That's as much as I know about agave.
And do you know why we're using it? Instead of sugar or instead of something else. If you're in India and you don't get agave, you can use jaggery. But jaggery is not as good as agave because it has a high glycemic index compared to agave.
This is jaggery.
Yes.
And this is sugar cane.
Yes, it's dried sugarcane juice. So we're almost done, Neil. Here you can see the consistency. It's almost done. If we leave it, it'll dry up a little bit more. And I'm going to taste a bit just to see how the sugar is. Okay, so we're just going to add half of this.
This is the agave.
This is the agave.
So people think of it as sort of a healthier substitute for honey or for sugar or something like that.
Right, because it has a low glycemic index, so it's really good. I mean, it's better not to use any sweetener, but since we have to use a little bit for a dessert, we're going to use agave. Okay, so now we have our Sheera ready. Okay, so here we have the whole plate with the lentils that we started off with, and then the mixed vegetable curry, and the paneer bhurji, which we made with tofu, and then we made the rice, and we made the chutney. I'm just going to put a little bit of chutney here. And we talked about the breads and the papadam, the lentil cracker, and the sheera for dessert. So have a great meal.